Hey YouTube, what's in the bags? Got 2 bags today, one in my back as well. These are ones, guitars I didn't get time for down at Wayne's, down at Download. So, this one, I think it's actually been donated to Jen. I like these. I've not actually seen this one out of the packet yet. I can tell it's white. Oh. This wants some oil on that fingerboard. It's kind of looking a bit dry. So this is, I'll tell you in the back one. This is a Gax 30. I rate these guitars. I had a bass version of this that I sold and I wish I hadn't. I should have kept it because it was fucking brilliant. If you ever see the bass version of these, the difference between this and an Epiphone EBO is just miles, even though they kind of look a bit similar. So it's a sort of an SG. Actually just happen to have an SG sitting there. So it's not really an SG, is it? Sort of. When people say, you know, I've got the Ibanez SG model, it's this one they're talking about. Indonesian 09. I think that they're Jen. I seem to remember Jen painting one of these purple. Oh, it's even in tune. In tune-ish. 3-way switch. This would benefit from one of those Cortex switches, wouldn't that be smashing? I might actually do that. I'm going over to Jen's this afternoon. I kind of like the idea of this maybe having a push-pull pot in it and having a dual coil split. That might be pretty cool. Okay, actually I'm going to plug this in. I wasn't going to. I suppose I'm just making sure it works. I do have a thing for white guitars though. Not that I'm not racist. They're just white guitars look better. White people are bastards, but white guitars are cool as fuck. All stems back from the story I always tell when I saw bollocks there's no. Oh, is there? Where? Yeah, that'll do. I saw Status Quo years ago, and they had white Marshalls, and I always thought white Marshalls looked shit. It's like, why would you want a white one? You know, it's obviously more expensive. But then when I saw them, Status Quo, they had the white Marshalls, they looked shit. And then the first song they played, they had white Marshalls, and then they put different coloured lights on them. Oh, so suddenly they had green Marshalls and then purple Marshalls, and they changed colour with the light, whatever light you shine on it. It's like, yeah. So perfect sense to me having the white Marshalls, because you can do that. Similar sort of thing happens with these guitars. So white guitar at a gig, purple light on it. Oh, purple guitar, etc. Great fun. There's only one. It sounds like there's only one string out on it. So I'm just gonna see if this actually works. I might run it through the tuner anyway. It seems to be sort of in tune, but I think it's more of a relative in tune to itself. This did come from Leicester, so temperature and all that's all different. No, what I want to do with this is I want to make the middle position a dual auto coil split. That's how I'm going to do it. And saying that, clean sound with both pickups on isn't actually that bad at all. These strings are not new. Bridge. Tone works. Volume works, there we go. Rat! The nut needs cut. Yeah, so I don't think I'm going to take this over to Jen's. Actually, which I think is a quicker and easier way of doing it. If I set this up and get it playing amazing, then give it to Jen to paint rather than doing it the other way around, it just become there's more hassle in it basically because it's suddenly on this. Oh, gotta get it finished. Whereas if I do it just now, I can just take time and Jen can just not have this guitar for another week. Sod it. Yeah, so I'm going to cut the nut on it. It's actually got the easy access truss rod cover, which I think it's a bit pointless, but I mean it is easier. It means you don't have to take out those wee stupid screws to get at it. You just kind of, I think it's actually for a pick. You just pick it. Well, I see. So a wee slidey door. There's your truss rods, which, and Ibanez put it on all their. They put it on really cheap guitars as well. I mean, I think a GAX 30. 30 seems like quite a low number. I'm sure. I wonder if the one we had before was maybe a slightly higher up end one. But I mean, I don't know if you get. These are certainly sort of an odd model because it's kinda nothing. It's a little bit like a Yamaha SG, a little bit like that the Japanese Hondo that you used to see, but you don't see anymore because people now know how good they are. So I guess it's, I don't know, is that a Les Paul Jr. maybe? Sort of, because flat top, it's the bolt-on neck. That bit there feels a wee bit like it shouldn't be as big as that. It should come in, but there are reasons for these things. I bet you if you make that bit thinner, the paint chips off it or something like that. So it's probably there for a good purpose. But I mean, you can get right up the fretboard, no problem with it. Balance wise, it's slightly neck heavy, but it wants to sit there, which is arguably not neck heavy. Just if you want it to sit there, it doesn't stay there. But I mean, move the strap button down there, we probably sort that. I'm not holding tune because these strings are ancient at all. Beautiful. And I'm totally, I keep saying it every time I turn it off. That is the noise when I've got the tuner on. It's a power supply problem, definitely. So I think I might, at some point, if anyone ever wants to, if anyone's got a decent power supply, I'll do a deal, swap it for something. I'm just because I'm a ridiculous cheapskate. I like the idea of finding these things when the one that's meant for me will show up. Someone will offer it me as a swap for something. And it's not unbearable having that noise when you're tuning. Couldn't have it at gigs. In fact, I've just thought how to sort it. See if I, instead of going to out 2, if I go to out 1. Yeah, that's that sorted. So basically now, when I hit the tuner, it doesn't mute it. Yeah. That means I don't have that horrible noise when I've got it. That's purely down to the power supply, I think. So I reckon the reason this guitar isn't more popular than you would think is because I don't think famous people play it. pretty much as simple as that. If this was like a Les Paul shape, it'd be like, oh, Jimmy Page, here we go, and then everyone would buy them because it's an awesome guitar. I really like the headstock shape as well. They've managed to make it different enough. It's got a relatively straight string pull as opposed to, you know, Gibson, where you've got the freaking these strings hit this and then go off at an angle like this. So the D and the G, the middle two strings, because they're not going straight through the nut, they're doing that. They don't stay in tune unless you do a really, really good job of cutting the nut, which, you know, you're spending $2,500 on a Gibson. They should have cut the nut. Maybe. They might have, if you're lucky. Or you pay somebody 50 quid to do it. But I mean, this plays actually really well. I think the action's perhaps slightly high. It's maybe not set up the way I would do it. Not really. 1.75. Slightly higher. But I mean, it doesn't sound wrong with that nut being too high. Just a little bit of neck. Yep, well, what's going on here is I could, so this I don't think was actually for sale in Wayne's shop. It needs fidgeting with, but I don't know, see the difference when you get this and it's like it's fretting out. I can actually see just by looking at it, the saddles, instead of going in a nice curve, you know, they're meant to follow the radius of the fingerboard, these saddles where you adjust them. This one kind of goes, and it dips down, so that the D string is 2mm lower than all the other ones, which is why it's not working. So it's like, I don't know, these are sort of things that it's totally worthwhile learning to do them yourself. But this is if you're buying them from a guitar shop. But this one I don't think made it for sale. You know, Wayne's wee guitar shop, Guitar Karma, is awful good for what they've got. It's a little bit of the B&L guitars thing in it, which you get when you go to a guitar shop that's not a big massive conglomerate thing, where, you know, it's like when I said when I went into Guitar Center and what was the other one in America? Guitar Center and the other one that's similar to that, and you go in and it's basically exactly the same as Guitar here. You go in and it's like, oh, there's the Squire Strats, there's the Epiphone Legend, everything's in exactly the same order it is on the internet, because people look up the internet rather than actually going and trying guitars. This is the sort of guitar you would get. Wayne shops a lot about like B&L, where it's like, because it's owned by one guy, they choose guitars that are interesting. It's not a case of, oh yes, we've got the ones that you're looking at on the internet, here's the Epiphone Les Paul in the 6 available colours. No, they'll have an Epiphone Les Paul, but they won't have, you know, multitudes of it. They'll have more interesting guitars, ones that are actually good, ones that if you go into the shop and actually play them, you're going to go, hey, how come this is awful good? This is much better than the Harley Benton that everyone tells me is pure amazing. It's like, because it is. I mean, better than any Harley Benton ever built. I need to stop slagging off Harley Benton so much. People keep telling me. It's like, but hey, I'm kind of doing it in jest anyway. All guitars are cool provided they work. I've got that thing for fighting for the underdog. You know, if everyone says it's amazing, I'll go, is it? Which is, I suppose it's a character flaw. Yeah, so this is not going to Jen this afternoon. I'm going to make this play, set it up. Because it's just that I can feel already that it's going to play amazing, and any of these I've played before have always been brilliant. There's an element of how complicated you make a guitar, and this is a very not complicated guitar. It's slab of wood, neck bolted onto it, hardtail bridge, it's through strung. And it's just everything you can. If someone's in the wrong place, you can just move it. They're not going to be in the wrong place, but everything's adjustable, easy to get at. I will have this playing like an absolute dream. Absolutely no problem. Right, I think that's been 15 minutes. So that the other what's in the other bag will be another video. I didn't realise I wasn't actually planning to talk about it. I was going to talk about this one. Oh, it's a Harley Benton. It is. Yep, so Ibanez GAX 30. These are brilliant guitars. I mean, I don't want to say, beginner guitar. But the thing about a beginner guitar is, like, a beginner guitar, you get the two sides of the coin where it's like, it's good for a beginner, as in, oh, it's a bit shit, but a beginner wouldn't notice. Or you get good for a beginner, as in, it's quite simple, it's easy to play, all the notes sound... once I've finished with this, if someone buys this for the first guitar, there's a fair chance they're going to learn to play the guitar. When you get your will suit beginner, in other words, it's all fucked. So that person, I managed it. My first guitar was terrible. There was something wrong with the neck. None of the notes sounded below about the 5th fret. I thought chords were too hard because every time I played them, they just buzzed and sounded terrible. That's why I was playing Paranoids and stuff like that, Black Sabbath, because it was power chords, and that guitar could play power chords. So there is an element of, good beginner guitar. Is it a good beginner guitar? A good beginner guitar is relatively easy. It's easy to play. It stays in tune. And it sounds all right. That's, it's like, maybe, even then, I'd be arguing to say, if you were going to take this into the studio, I bet you this sounds fine. I bet you the Ibanez pickups are good. They always are. I've not come across an Ibanez that doesn't have really good pickups for what's in it. They're not branded pickups. Oh God, they don't say Seymour Duncan on them or anything like that. So get it ripped out, put my Seymour Duncans in. Oh, have you tried playing the guitar? No. Right, what about the nut not being cut very well? Fuck the nut. I want to put Seymour Duncan. Right, okay. I want to throw money at it. What about throwing money at the bits that make it work? No. Pickups. Badges. I need badges. What's the point in playing the guitar if I can't go, Seymour Duncan, DiMarzio, I've got a Marshall. What's the point? Very much an SG neck, actually, on it as well. Yep, so I totally recommend it. Especially if you're I don't know what you pick these up for. Did I see a bit of paper in here? I think there was a I think this might have actually been up for sale notice. I think it probably just needed work. There we go. Pre-owned Ibanez GAX 30 white, 159 new price. SG clone underlined. It's not really a clone. The mahogany body, maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, infinity pickups. There you go, infinity goods. And on par with an Epiphone. Yes, it's a belter. So coming soon as a JPAX. I wonder if Jen could paint it and leave it somewhat a lot white, less busy. And I think she started doing that a little bit as well. So I know she'd repainted her cabinet. It's like having bigger things, like the way the Bug is. Yeah, it's got like big things on it as opposed to being lots of detail, which kind of gives you a sore head sometimes. Rock-a-doodle, loving it. Catch you later.